Hello everyone, welcome back to this Angular course. This lecture will focus on our first Angular concept, modules. What is Angular modules? Angular modules are also called as ng module, declares a compilation context for a set of components, which means it facilitates a compilation context for a components that it ties all the components together inside a module and the related services so that it works together as a cohesive unit. Every Angular app has a root module called the app module. Modules can import functionalities from other modules as well as export their functionalities. By doing this, Angular is encouraging us to, to reuse the available code. How is a module defined? A module is defined by a function called ng module. Inside the ng module, you have to declare a metadata object which lists all the properties of the module. The properties include declarations. So inside the declarations, you can give components, directives, and pipes that are to be associated with this module. Yeah, you don't worry about these terms right now because I'll be covering all these topics in the upcoming lectures. For now, you can imagine components as a view that has a template and a related class for injecting a value in it. And the second property is exports. It is this property where you can mention what all you need to export to other modules or make available to the other modules. The next property is imports. Imports allow us to use inbuilt Angular libraries and and the other modules which are made available through exports. So you can reuse a component from another module by importing that module in this module. Providers. Providers is the space where you can declare the services that is tied to this module. Each component might be working with a service for getting data. So if you have a service that has to be associated with this module, then you can mention in this providers property. Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a property that says that is only specific to the root module or the app module. Bootstrap is the property that says this is the first page that is going to be on this application. So this is very specific to only the app module. So this is a sample module. I will go through the properties one by one and explain you so that you can get how to declare a module. As you can see, there is ng module function. Inside that we are declaring an object which has the property imports. So we are importing browser module, which is an inbuilt Angular library. So to include that in imports, you have to import that module from the default Angular platform browser library. So whatever you're going to include in the imports or exports, you have to import it first. So we have imported browser module from Angular, the default library. So we are importing it, which means we are going to use the features of browser modules inside this module's components. Providers. Inside providers, we have mentioned something called logger. You might be confused what logger means. Logger is nothing but a service which we are going to write. Right now, you think of a service that has already been written. Since this is an example given from the Angular documentation, it might be a service that has been written for logging. You can also, this is a space where you can declare your user-defined services that has to work in this module. Declarations is the main part here. This is the space where you declare all the components that are associated with this module. So this is a simple example. So just you have one component in this, but as the application becomes large, you might have multiple components inside this property. And the next property is exports. So exports is the property that says like what are the components in this module that you want to make available to other modules. So we have just, since this is a simple app that has only one component, we have just mentioned that as in exports. Bootstrap, as I already told, Bootstrap is something that is very specific to the app component. So in the Bootstrap, Bootstrap is the place where you can say where you want the application to start, which is the first component that is going to be displayed. So that is the app component, and you have to export this module so that it is available across the application. So I'll show you module that I created for my application, which is more complex than this. So this is a module that I created for an application. As you can see, there are multiple components in it, not just the app component. App component is the main component, and we have a header component, we have a routing component, we have a map page component. Each of these component has a specific functionality. Header displayed the header of this web page, of this application. Map page is a separate page of this application. So as you can see, these are separate components. Map page is a separate component. I have included this component inside this module, and I have added header component in this module. So all these components that I have listed here belong to this module. And then imports. So since as you can see, I have mentioned browser module, app routing module, forms module, HTTP client modules. These have been mentioned here because I have used them inside the components that I have declared here. So as you can see, this is a complex code where I have used all the HTTP client and all those. To use them in your component, you have to mention it in your module. Providers, I have not used any service, so I haven't mentioned any providers here. Bootstrap is as usual app component, since this will be the first screen that will be displayed when someone accesses this website. That's all for now. So I think you guys would have understood the concept of modules. Let's move on to the next concept, components. If you have any doubts, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching.